Coming up next, Stephen Burns. Well, hey guys, and welcome back to another Interstellar Academy. And of course, that bell you hear in the background means we are ready for another session here. And today we have a treat for you. I have a guest speaker, Stephen Burns. And Stephen and I go way back to, I'd say, at least 2019, at least 6 years ago, right? Our first Wonderfest, yeah. And I remember having a conversation with him back then about 3D printing. And back then it was, I guess you could say it was in its infancy,
yes,
at least in a sense
absolutely,
of the access to the average hobbyist to 3D printing. But do you think of how far things have come in just 6 years,
my
right?
gosh.
Just incredible, right? So I've been following this guy along on Facebook and other things that he's done. And I know now that he actually teaches courses on how to design things for 3D printing. This is something I know very little about. If you guys are into 3D printing, all of us have gained a lot of knowledge of how to actually print things. But when it comes to design, I really don't know too much about. So this year at Wonderfest, Ken Spriggs featured one of his models in his bills. In fact, this is a picture of it. This, of course, is the Proteus from Fantastic Voyage. And as Ken and I spoke about, they told me, hey, I asked him, who designed that? And he said, oh, Stephen Burns. I go, I know that guy. So I've been wanting to have him on the channel for some time, so I thought this would be a great opportunity. So we met up at Wonderfest, and we kind of arranged a time to meet here. And so again, what he's
in my home studio,
in his home studio.
Now this is what I call service.
Yeah, this is where the magic happens.
That's right.
I want to mention that my goal here now is, as I mentioned, he teaches courses on this stuff. My goal is not to have him teach a course on this, but to give us an abbreviated idea of how to get from A to Z when it comes to designing something. And at the end, we'll certainly give him the opportunity to tell us how to gain access to his courses or to how to sign up for one. So first of all, thank you for spending the time today.
Yeah, thank you for coming over.
It's a pleasure to have you on. Yes, it's great. Tell me a little bit. Let's get started first by telling us a little bit about your background.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what. We'll go way back before I got into photography, actually.
Yeah, because I know he's an accomplished photographer.
Right. Well, I was a professional photographer. I went to the photo education through Palomar College.
Okay.
Got my certificate in photography. Went professional in the late '80s.
Wow. Okay.
So in the late '80s. So I was doing photography way before digital.
Yeah. Yeah.
When your responsibility was to deal with the lab and the customer and get professional print set up for presentations.
Yeah, I have gray hair, so I remember those days.
That's right. Yeah. And I was working with the 4x5 camera. I was a commercial photographer. Wow. I did a lot of product photography, a lot of architecture photography, and it was required that we use 4x5 negatives. Negatives are slides this big.
Yeah.
So I got into photography because I was drawing and painting, bought a camera, Minolta X700, didn't know what to do with it. Yeah. Took a class at Palomar College, a beginning 101 class. Didn't know what these buttons were for aperture and shutter speed.
Right.
And that got me hooked.
Sure.
And I decided to take the entire program, went professional as photographer. Someone introduced me to a program called Bryce. It was a 3D landscaping program.
Wow.
And a very simple one, and it just captured my imagination. That got me into a program called Poser. That got me into Lightwave. That transitioned to a lot of different 3D products.
Yeah. I recognize a lot of these names. So he's been around for a while.
I've been around for a while. I've been doing 3D for a long time.
Yeah,
and it wasn't until around 2019 that my personal friend of mine, Brian Haberlin, he's a pretty well-known comic book artist, said, Steve, you've got to try this Creality CR10. I said, what's that? So it's a 3D printer. So you do 3D, right? I said, yeah. So you should buy this thing. So it was like $300 and something bucks.
Sure.
For a 12 by 12 by 14.
Right.
I thought, well, hell. Yeah. Okay, I can do that. So I bought one. Yeah. And studied my ass off. Yeah. It is not. You go and buy a 3D printer. You do not buy a 3D printer and then you start printing. Right. There is a learning curve.
There's a learning curve. Absolutely.
There's a steep learning curve. Yeah. And I went through a lot of headache, but learned to master that printer. Right. And I was printing out some pretty good stuff and started posting it on Facebook. On Facebook, I get these people saying, oh my gosh, these are great. can you print something for me? I said, well, what do you want printed? I want like the end caps for the 1/350th scale Enterprise, right?
Yeah. Right.
Now, I have never been associated with these modeling groups up until this point in 2019.
Right. Yeah.
And I said, sure. So I gave them a price. I designed it, showed them some of the screen captures. They said, this is wonderful. Print it. I print it. They sent it to them, and they're raving about it. Before long, I'm getting all these orders of other people who want their own custom design of these Enterprise end caps.
Yeah.
I started getting more orders for other parts for other ships.
Yeah.
Custom designed Enterprises. Mm-hmm. And I didn't know at the time that the people who were hiring me were the people who were on the board for Wonderfest.
I see. Wow.
And then they got me into coming to Louisville to do presentations.
That's how you got all started. Very good. Yeah, so I know he's taught at Wonderfest for some time now, right?
Yeah, every
year. And very successful. I know I've spoken to people who have taken his course and they rave about him. So it's a treat today to have him on. And what he's, like I said, he's going to give us an idea of how to design. So we're going to use the Proteus as an example here. Yeah. So I'm going to let him take over. And where do we start with all this stuff?
Well, I tell you what. The Proteus is fairly simple. How about if we go into the program and kind of give you a little bit of idea how I worked it out?
All right, sounds good. Here we go.
All right, so I'm in Blender. Blender 3D is an absolute amazing product. So I teach it in 3 different colleges, Coastline and Golden West, and as well as Studio Arts in Los Angeles. I'm the lead Blender instructor. And it's most of my students are Maya people who want to learn Blender. So the industry is going toward Blender, and you're about to see why. So here's the Proteus. And what I've done is I've decided to segment this, and the way I build in the 3D program is exactly the way I'm going to 3D print it out so that it's going to become functional. So right up here in my menu, my top right hand corner is your 3D outliner. I like to call it the 3D layers menu. And I've got my top half, as you can see here. I can turn off the top half and you can see inside the Proteus. We're going to get in real close. All right, so this detail is amazingly replicated by the Frozen. And I'm using the Mega 8K, and that detail is absolutely amazing. So look at this. The stairs are replicated accurately, and Aji can contest to this. He's actually seen the actual model. All of that has been honored in the final print. So this is not designed exactly to the television show. All right, because I put my own 2 cents in here in terms of detail, like that floor pattern didn't exactly exist on a television show, but I thought it looked pretty cool. So I decided to integrate these actual 3D patterns into the surface. I'm going to pull this back, and we're going to go to the rear of the sub. Okay, there's the compartment for the divers. They'll enter in through the door and then come straight out to the bottom. Right here. Now I'm going to go to X-ray view in Blender, and in Blender it's an Alt-Z that goes to X-ray view, so you can see through everything, and you can see how I aligned everything. If I go to my side view, you can see how I aligned it, and I got as close as I can to the right underneath the entryway for the divers. Alt-Z again, go back to natural mode. All this was replicated pretty accurately to the movie. And I'm going to show you the references that I use. So I'm using references to honor as much of the traditional detail as possible. I've got the laser right back here. You can see that's the laser, the wheel to the back. And Gene Davis was the one that hired me to actually build this. Look at the bottom. It's very accurate to the show.
Yeah, beautifully done. It's like taking a tour of the actual scene. The curious thing is that, there are a lot of scenes, a lot of things happen in the movie, and there are a number of elements that you only got a glimpse at.
That's right.
It's really kind of neat looking at it this way.
That's right.
So you have these references. So this is how you start then, right?
Right.
Go to some references.
So I've got a lot of references. Now I'm using a program called PureRef. Some of you may be familiar with it, but it's free. And PureRef, PureRef. Mm-hmm. And PureRef allows me to bring in references off the internet and place them into one little black square.
I see.
So if I double click on any of these, we get up close and we can see, my references. And I pulled off references from people who are actually doing models on the internet, from the actual film set itself. I'm trying to get any way that I can to pull in visuals.
Yeah, so all from different angles,
right?
All the different elements that you've got inside, both outside and in. Yeah, I'm going to tell you, you also used some references from the Mobius kit as well, too.
Yes, right? I sure did. Mm-hmm. In fact, sitting right behind us is the Mobius kit. The reason I wanted to add my own little personal details to it was because the Mobius kit was boring. There's not a lot of detail inside the ship.
Yes.
So I decided to go in here and just add my own extra details in here.
Embellish it a little bit.
Embellish it. That's right.
Give you more interesting things to look at, like that flooring, for example.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And these extra tubing.
Sure.
Along with additional parts that did not exist in the film.
Mm-hmm. So do you design then from the hull, starting on the exterior first and then work your way in, or do you do them separately?
Absolutely. So when I'm designing anything, it's about not paying attention to detail.
Okay.
No detail. Mm-hmm. I want the overall shape, the silhouette of the shape. That's all I'm looking at.
Yeah.
But this was basically designed from a cube.
I see. So he starts with a cube.
Start with a cube. Actually, we'll do it right now. If I back my cube, there we go. All right, I'm going to do it again. Go to the top view very quickly. Grab the side. All right. G key X. I'm going to pull this down right about here. Well, I'm going to go ahead and grab this. I'm going to match the center of the sub itself. All right, now Control R, slide it to here. Control R, make another slice, slide it to here. Grab these edges right on the side. All right, and pull that on in like so. Grab these edges, put it on the side, and grab that in like so. Now, I'm going to take the interior face and I'm going to delete it. So this face here, I'm going to get out of X-ray mode because I'm confusing the program as to where the faces are. Mm-hmm. So shift, select all those faces. X key, delete those faces there. And there's a reason why. We're gonna use a modifier to actually replicate this or to mirror this. And before I mirror it, I'm gonna do one last thing. Let's go to the top view. Let's go back to X-ray view. Let's add one little slice right down the side here. I'm gonna grab this edge and bring it in even closer like that. That's more appropriate. And I think I'm going to push this back to, there we go, that's better. Now, Control R, I'm adding a slice here. Now, why did I do this? Because if I come over to here and grab this edge and pull it out, say right about there, and I'm going to grab the entire edge here. I'm just going to push it up manually. That's good. So if I grab this, Control B for bevel, I can start to add that little bit of curve in there. I'm gonna do the same thing here in the front. Just grab this edge, pull it on out, grab the entire edge loop. Go back to the top, Control B, and I can now begin to kind of match. And if I want to go grab all these edges, just kind of push it on out a little bit. So what you're seeing is a very boxy shape, right? So if I go to the side here, I can grab that bottom portion, bring it up to match the ship, top portion, bring it up to match. And then of course we can do the rest of our magic, grabbing these shapes and start to do something like this, right?
Got it. Wow. So this is basically the same process you follow for pretty much designing everything,
yep,
right?
Everything.
Starting off with basic shapes.
Yep.
And then kind of, the key, of course, is learning how to do all this on this program. But once you get the hang of it, of course, there's so much that you can do with it.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
really being a virtual sculptor.
Absolutely.
Essentially, right? And,
absolutely.
And you get to the point when you get so, when it becomes almost second nature, being able to maneuver around this program, like with most things, then it's just like taking your hands and molding clay without even thinking much about it.
That's exactly right.
Exactly. Great. Well, fantastic. Thank you for showing
You're very welcome.
All right. Okay, well, I thought we'd spend a few minutes, so thanks again, Stephen, for giving us that. And I thought we'd spend a few minutes now with some of the models he's actually created. Now, as I understand it, you are commissioned for a lot of these designs.
Yeah, right? I think pretty much all of them.
Mm-hmm. All right. So what he's going to do is let's go through a few of these here so he can show us the intricacy of the designs he's come up with and how they've 3D printed. So let's go ahead and start then with this saucer section right there. Tell us a little bit about this design.
All right, so this one you're actually looking at is one of the latest ones. This is the saucer section of a custom designed Enterprise. This one was done for David Anderson. And my good friend David Anderson, he's instrumental at NASA. I think he's the physician to the astronauts at NASA. And everybody in his office all had Star Wars models. So he decided he's not going to do Star Wars. He's going to do Star Trek, but he wanted something different with Star Trek. So this is the top half of the saucer section. This is my design. The actual body for this, I just finished this morning.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so you've definitely accommodated for lighting and putting in wires, all that sort of stuff.
That's right. So all of these areas in here are all hollow. All right?
And this was printed in resin?
Resin. This is printed in resin. Mm-hmm. So this is water wash resin.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so durable, these not brittle then, right?
Not brittle at all.
Can handle them pretty well.
You can actually, there's a little flex to it, in fact.
Yeah, that's great. Wow. So, now, you were showing me one earlier of a Klingon design. Tell us a little about that Klingon bridge now you've designed.
This one is the actual size that it will go onto it. I'll show you the larger size. This is the actual size that will go right onto the 1/350th scale Klingon battle cruiser. I think more menacing looking.
Yeah, it's a ship you definitely don't want to mess with.
Right, more menacing looking than what came originally. And exactly. I was hired to do a custom design.
Mm-hmm. Now you have a bigger version of that you can show us.
This
is that
is
right?
the big one.
And this was now printed in filament.
This was printed in filament. This one wasn't resin.
And was this done as a test then?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Got it.
Actually, this filament print I did before I had bought a resin printer.
Got it.
So I was doing as a test to see how much detail I can pull out of here. This will go to the same model, 1/350th scale Katinga class Klingon ship. So if we take a look at that, you can see, so if it's not lit behind there, see if we can get in close enough. There you go. You can see through the little slots. So you light it from the inside with a green overlay behind it.
Yeah, and that would give you that effect of that. So this year at Wonderfest now, Stephen, this was an entry of yours.
That is an entry.
So let's talk about Ultraman first. So
I was hired to do an Ultraman. In fact, I had no idea what Ultraman was. So I went and did a lot of research, and we wanted that pose. Actually, he let me kind of do the pose, and then he suggested, but I want the traditional arms. Yeah. Like this. So that was Robert Thune, who hired me for this one. And it was designed in Blender first, and then detailed in ZBrush.
And I love the pose. It really does capture the essence of that character.
Thank you.
Yeah, very, very nice.
And it got the bronze. And you can see the bronze medal right on the back there.
Very good. Well, let's move on now to the Thunder Fighter. And this, again, is from Buck Rogers, one of my favorite all-time sci-fi designs, I have to say.
Me too.
Beautifully done.
Yeah,
Designed
me
by
too.
Ralph McQuarrie,
Yes.
right? If I have it correct. I've not seen it in this paint scheme. Tell us a little bit about this design now, and
okay.
what we see
so here. This was the actual model, from what I've been told, was actually molded from the actual model on set.
Okay.
So it's true to design. What you rarely get in the show is a view of the interior of the ship.
That's right. It's true.
So one of the people that had two of these models hired me to build the cockpit. Yeah. And I loved the model design. It was one of my favorite of all the sci-fi. Yeah. Even over Star Wars, I think this is the coolest design.
Yeah.
And my friend, Eric DG, he goes by, who also did the post-processing on Ultraman.
Yeah.
Did the post-processing and the lighting connections and all the detail on it. He's a master at what he does. And I met him at Wonderfest some years ago. And he kept winning awards. I figured, okay, I want to work with this guy.
Yeah.
So we agreed to do these two for this show. And this is the first time ever that I've entered the show. And I received bronze and a silver on this one.
Wow, very nice. Yeah. And this is the cockpit you designed for this.
Yeah, this is the cockpit.
Yes.
In fact, I'm going to go grab the cockpit. I have the raw piece sitting on the table here. Okay, and I'm going to bring it close, and there it is.
Oh, yeah. Very nice. Yeah, there it is.
All right, so if we turn it the right way.
Yeah.
And this can be ordered on my site.
Yeah, nice.
So it's my personal design. So I'm going to bring it up.
Oh, yeah. Beautiful.
Carefully turn it to the side so you
can... Beautiful. Well, congratulations on your wins there. Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
One thing that caught my eye was this sculpture here. Can you tell us a little bit about this now?
Absolutely. I mean, let's kind of bring it to the camera. Started in Blender.
Wow.
And detail was sculpted out in ZBrush. And all of the strings and details that you see on here is 3D printed. And we're going to come down the bottom.
Look at the detail on that.
Look at the detail here.
Wow.
I did this part of a show.
Okay, and then this is the piece that's based on, right?
That's correct.
Okay, and this is all your design.
It's all my design.
Wow. And what's the title of the piece again?
It's called Tides to the Abyss.
Tides to the Abyss.
And it's all set up in Blender. With an environment that I built in Blender with the sculpture in there.
Beautiful.
So for the exhibition, I wanted to show that with 3D, we can not only do a sculpture three-dimensionally, but we can also do two-dimensional art pieces.
Oh my gosh. Wow, that is fantastic. Well, I want to thank you for spending some time with us today. This was a true pleasure, and it's just really cool to see all your designs. And so you guys have kind of a taste for, at least where you start anyway, how this type of stuff is done. And so tell us now, Stephen, how would someone go about signing up for one of your classes?
Okay, so basically go to my website, go to chromeillusion.com, and that's www.chromeallmusionNancy.com, and then go to the workshop section and look for the Blender workshops. And plus, we'll put a link in the description as well.
All right, very good. Well, thanks again for spending the time.
Thank you for having me.
All right, it's been a real treat. All right, thank you.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that. It certainly was a lot of fun hanging out with Stephen. I found it fascinating how he starts off with just basic shapes and ends up with something so intricate. I originally intended to have him design something from beginning to end, and I thought the Proteus would be good because it's so recognizable. But as he started going through the steps on just working on the hull, I realized it would take a lot of time to get to the end product. But at least I think we all got a good look on how he starts with it all. Now, if you're wondering if I'm going to get into 3D design, that's not something I plan to do, at least in the near future. I know it takes a while, and there's a bit of learning curve to get used to using that program. I just don't have the time to devote to that. But if you're interested in it, I think Stephen would make a great teacher. If you're going to be at Wonderfest next year, I'm sure he's going to be there again. If not, or if you can't attend this show, again, I've left the links down to his website below. Well, before wrapping up here, I thought I would share a few 3D printed things that came to me recently from modeler Fred Lewis. He sent along this box with a beautiful rendition of the arrowhead that you see in the movies. And inside this box is a sculpt of Captain Sulu, which he designed. And you can see he is sporting that monster maroon uniform that you see him wearing in Star Trek VI. And it's a really good likeness of Sulu as well. He also sent along a paint caddy that has a cup for water if you're using acrylics, and the Interstellar Modeler logo in the middle. And you can see in the back there's a plaque with the Interstellar Model logo as well that he'd sent along. Now, one other thing I wanted to share with you is something that someone had made a comment of in the tricorder video I've recently posted, and that's of this fighter here. If you recognize it, this is the Scorpion Viper, or 6th Millennial fighter from the original Battlestar Galactica series. I happened to find this on Thingiverse, and hope to be painting this on a channel sometime soon. So again, just other examples of what you can find out there for 3D printing, and examples, if you get into design, of things that you can do. Alright guys, well, as for my next project, I originally intended it to be the speedboat shuttle from Voyager, but I'm going to hold off on that a little bit because I know Lou Del Maso is designing some newer paint masks for it, or additional paint masks, so I'm going to wait for that. And I was actually intending on doing some projects for San Diego Comic-Con Art Show, but I just ran out of time, and so this year I'm just going to be attending the con, which is coming up next week, and not have to worry about any art projects this year. But I'll be posting something real soon on the channel, and I will see you then in that next video. There goes the bell. I think that means class is dismissed. I'll see you then. Take care.